evening. It is a live, so please bear with me. I'm just going to wait for a few people to come before we start. Oh, awful story for you all this evening. So just bear with me while I fix my face. Yeah, how are you all? If you're watching tomorrow, if you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. Is this a bit wonky? I feel like it's a little bit wonky. It's a bit better. Or if you'd just wanna join the channel, it's True Crime with Jess Rose. Feel free to join our lives. It'd be lovely to have you. But yeah. Hi, Sharon, how are you? Oh, you're my first this evening. How's it going? Been looking at your one. Yeah, I've got a few to do that I've had this week, but yours is definitely on my list. Really got to look into that one. It's a really in-depth one, isn't it? I've watched a couple of the documentaries on it. Hey, Hayley, how you doing? Hi, Warwick. Hi, Phil. God, we're all coming in. You like buses? How are you? Happy Jess Rose Day. How are we all? Can't believe it's Thursday again already. Weeks are just flying by. It's going to be Easter before we know it. Have you all been? Hope you've been okay. I was just saying to Sharon, I've got oh, you did say. Yes, I was just speaking to Sharon, not my mum. Sharon, my mum does looking as well. Her name's Sharon. And she's mentioned a story for us all to get involved in the request live Tuesday. So we'll have a look at that one. Hey sis, how you doing? How are we? How's your day been? How are we? I can't believe it. I was just saying I can't believe it's Thursday already. It's gone really quick again this week's gone. Do we know this story? Does anyone know this one? Oh, it's one of those stories again. It's the disability mate crime kind of story. Oh, it's just awful. I don't know. It's just very recently. It's very recently. The sentence has only just come out a couple of weeks, so it's a real new one. I don't normally do them this new, but as long as we've got the sentence and I can tie everything up, yeah, I don't mind doing the newer ones. I just like to make sure I've got all the details for you before I do. But should we start? Have we all been okay? We're gonna have a good night tonight. We're gonna have a good night, and we're all gonna get along, and we're all gonna be all happy and everything. Okay, let's give it a go. It's like the title says, it's the upsetting disability mate crime of Shakira Spencer. Ugh. Awful story. Yes, so okay, should we start? Are we all ready? Should we start? I think we should start, shouldn't we? With regards to Shakira, I don't know a lot about her early life, let's just say. I think maybe it's because, which is another reason why I don't tend to do stories so soon after they've just not been resolved. I don't think that's the right word, but as soon as the sentences have come out and everything, because there's always more information that comes out afterwards. But like I say, if I hear anything after this, I'll update the story. But we'll go from here. So like I say, I don't know a lot about her early years. She was born on the 13th of June, 1987. What it says about Shakira, she was a very lovable person. She did have learning difficulties and she was vulnerable. But she could live on her own. She had 2 children. Don't know about the custody of the children. You'll realise why I'm saying that soon. But I don't think they lived with her. I don't think so. Um, no, all she ever wanted was to be loved and to be cared for and to have a nice group of friends, like us all, don't we all? And I don't think it's too much to ask of for someone to have at least one good friend. It shouldn't be too much to ask. But she was quite socially awkward, so it said, and she just had trouble making those friends that she really wanted. That's all she really wanted. Um, Now, if you see a picture of this lady, she was, very, very pretty, very healthy looking, um, always smiling. Any pictures I saw of her, always smiling, and she looked like a fun girl, to be honest. In the pictures you see and what I've heard about her, she just seems such a oh, it's just so sad. It's so so sad. This story is because we come up to 2015 now. At this point in the story, Shakira's 28, okay, and she has a neighbour moving near her. Now this is in Ealing in West London, obviously the UK. And she she has a neighbour moving called Ashana Studholme. Now Ashana at this point is 38. Now for the most part, for the first few years, um it's just sort of a neighbourly relationship, I believe, between the two of them. Because at this point, Shakira was in a relationship. Now, it says that her relationship, Shakira's, ended in 2021. It's not saying much about her children, so I don't know if these children are from this relationship. I presume so, but I can't say for definite if that's who these children. The dad is the dad of these children. The relationship that broke up is the dad of these children. I can't 100% say that. Like I say, there's a lot of things missed out in the earlier years before what I'm going to talk to you about. So I've tried to find out what I can, but it is quite hard to find early years of this situation. But her relationship with her partner broke up in 2021, and that's when Shakira and Ashana, remember I said the neighbour that moved in, that's when they become a little bit closer. Now Ashana, oh God, of all the people you could have living next to you, Ashana just wasn't a good person. She just wasn't a good person. Everything I've seen to even up to that point, she'd had previous arrests for racially motivated attacks on people. She'd already been done for neglect of one of her children. She just it's so unfortunate that this is the neighbor that Shakira got. Whereas any normal person who had anything about them, who would see that this lady is, she has got difficulties and she's a little bit socially awkward, and you would just give her a little bit of kindness, a little bit of time. That's just not what happened. Now, when Shakira's relationship had finished and she started to get a little bit closer with Ashana, I don't care if I'm pronouncing her name right, but I think I am, Ashana. Her and Shakira and Ashana obviously start to get closer, and Ashana sees it as a perfect time to start taking advantage of Shakira. And it's just, how many stories like this have we done as a group? How many stories have we done? We go all the way back. I think my first one was Gemma Hayter. We've had Sean Rossington. There's just so many stories that I've done. Lee Irving. It was Lee Irving, wasn't it? Off the top of my head, I know I've done loads. And it's always the same thing. They always end up meeting these vile human beings who seem to seek them out. It's so frustrating. It genuinely is. It's like, why can't these people just meet? Like I said, Gemma Hayter. Why can't they just meet kind people? I don't understand. So, okay, what Ashana started doing was slowly isolating her from her family and her friends. Again, age-old story. Started like pushing them away. You know, Jennifer Doherty. Sorry, that's another one. If you're watching tomorrow, sorry, the names weren't coming to me and I'm being helped out, so thank you. Yeah, and she's slowly being isolated from her family and her friends. And there's another couple of friends that become involved, isn't there? Aren't they always? By the name of Lisa Richardson, and it's actually Ashana's ex-boyfriend called Sean Pendlebury. Now, it's said that Sean had a low IQ, no learning difficulties that I've seen. That I've watched the trial. I didn't hear anything about any learning difficulties of Sean, but he did have a very low IQ, so it said. So Shakira now is in the grasp of these three just rotten people. Okay. Shakira's family around this point are starting to notice that she's becoming a little bit withdrawn. She's coming away from everyone she cares about. It's slowly happening over a period of months. Okay, it wasn't just all, straight away. It never is it? It's very slow. It's very deliberate. So that's what's happening. And then they start to introduce her to drugs. Doesn't say what drugs they are. I haven't seen. I've looked everywhere. I can't see what drugs we're referring to, but she became addicted to certain drugs, it said. That's what they brought into her life. That's what they offered her. These friends, that's what they offered her. Get rid of her family, get rid of her real friends, and let's get her hyped up on drugs. Let's do this. This is how we treat our friends now, apparently. Oh, you can tell I've got no time for these three at all. So we come up to 2022. Okay, that's where we're coming up to. Now, Shakira had, by this point, been losing so much weight. Like I said, she'd started to look very gaunt. She was looking really frail. Even her own neighbours were becoming quite worried about her appearance. Now, if you want to, it's entirely up to you. After this, if you want to go away and even just have a look at the two pictures side by side, when you put her name in, the two pictures tend to come up straight away, and it will show before she met these three and after, and you wouldn't know it was the same person. You wouldn't recognise her. And the fact that it's been done over a period of a few months, it's awful. It's so sad to see. It's haunting. They're haunting photos. It's vile. It's awful. So we come up to now the 25th of September 2022. All right? That's where we are now. Neighbours, remember I said her neighbours were getting a little bit concerned about her. They were seeing her on the street and she was looking a lot older than she would normally. than she would normally, than she had before. So they were already concerned about her. But on the 25th of September 2022, like I say, the neighbours reported they'd gone past Shakira's house. Well, it was, from what I can see, it looks like a big house, but it's been converted into flats. That's what it looks like. And it said it's a flat, but where you see on the camera and you look at the houses opposite, it looks like it's quite a big house, so it would mean it's been converted. That I haven't seen the building itself. Maybe I just haven't come across it. I have looked. But you do see the houses that are opposite. And if that's anything to go by, I think it is a converted house, right? So neighbours had been going past her flat and they noticed maggots coming out from under her door. Okay, it's not a good sign. So they phoned the authorities. They're like, we haven't seen this girl in a while. We're a bit concerned about her. And now we're seeing maggots come out from under the door. There's obviously something really bad's gone on. So they go into the home, into the flat. They have a look round and they go into a child's bedroom. And in the bed of what would be her son's bed is Shakira, and she's deceased. Okay. And at this point she was decomposing, so she'd been dead for a while. Okay. It's so sad. Maggots were actually all round her home. They were all round her home. Now, when she was taken away and taken to the coroner said she'd been tortured for a long time. That's what he came up with. Now, bear with me 1 second. Okay. So Sean, remember Sean, one of the three. Now he turned round and he'd been speaking to an uncle of his. And he'd said to his uncle, do you want to know what? Let me tell you something. I need to tell you something. Remember I said he's got a bit of a low IQ? Don't know if that's what had to do with this. But he turned around to his uncle and he's like, listen, I've done something. And his uncle's like, okay. He's like, well, I burnt this woman and she's dead. And yeah, don't tell anyone. And off he pops. And his uncle's there like, oh my God, absolutely not. His uncle phones the police straight away. And I just think fair play. Because there's many, many family members that, won't do that. They won't. Yeah, they won't go and talk on their family members. We do. There's been a lot of cases like that where it will be covered up, but his uncle goes straight to the police. So, bear with me a second. Where am I? Page 3. Okay. So, I'm sorry. Ignore me. I've made so many notes. We know how my notes can mess me up. And I've got from page to page. And I just want to make sure I tell you everything in the right order. So, here we are. Okay. So, he's told his uncle now. Okay. So, Sean's home gets searched. All right. And they find some trainers there because obviously his uncle's phoned the police, take his trainers away. All right. Now, at the same time, they're looking into Shakira. There's no connection just at the moment. Okay. There's no connection between them. So all round Shakira's home, there's blood spatters all round her home. Okay. They can tell that there's been a clean-up been done in the police cam. They can see that something's obviously gone very badly wrong here. So, you know, they use that luminol. Okay, and you can see online, you can see what I'm about to talk about. Well, there's a cupboard in her hallway, and they noticed that there was some blood spatter in there. So they put the luminol around. Oh, wow. Oh, it's horrific. There's, you know how it lights up, obviously, and it's in like a kind of a blue, it's like it's shown up under fluorescent light, and there's blood everywhere. Everywhere. And it always, I remember the first time I ever, I will come back to it just 1 second, but I remember the very first time I ever learned about luminol. And I was really young. I was watching a film, and it wasn't a horror film. It was a crime film. No change. And I was very young. And it was a husband and wife, and it was based on a true story, and you didn't know what had happened to the wife, but the police came to the house and they started putting this stuff down. And his parents, the husband's parents, were sleeping over at the house. And you see them sit up in the middle of the night because there's something glowing in the room with them. And the room, all the beds, all the floor, all the walls, it's just all lit up. So you can imagine it would have been blood. There's like handprints on the walls. And that was my first sort of thing of seeing luminol. So it always just fills me with a dread when I see it. And that's what was in this poor woman's cupboard, just everywhere, just blood all up in this cupboard. So they're like, what the hell's gone on? What the hell has happened to this poor woman? So, sorry, yes, it does. That's what I mean. It detects the blood spatter, but you can't, obviously it's not ready. It comes up as it's like a blue, isn't it? Sort of. So what they do, the police start looking at CCTV footage from around the area, and there was also a Ring camera, and they start looking at footage, and yes, who do they see? They see old Sean. They see Sean on there. They see Ashana on there, and they also see Lisa Richardson coming and going out of Shakira's house. So it's all started to be pinpointed now. They've sent his trainers, Sean's trainers, off, and the blood that's on his trainers comes back as Shakira's. So it's starting to come together that something really, really bad was happening to this poor lady. And the police are sort of investigating, and they're trying to put everything together. They're looking over the CCTV footage and they can see, but then they start to notice Shakira coming and going on the footage. And it's night and day, like I say, of how she had been, of how she was just so lively, like so attractive, and just looks so full of life. Like I say, when you're done, if you want to go and have a look at the photos, you'll see the point I'm trying to make. And the photo that's side by side, she's just so gaunt. She genuinely is. She just looks, it's night and day. Okay. There's footage of her on there struggling to walk. She's got black eyes. You can see it on the Ring camera. She's walking in like the right side of her face is sort of swollen. All under her eyes, just black. It's just awful. Okay. So what the police do, on the 26th of September 2022, they arrest all three of these. Okay, all three are arrested. Of course, they all blame each other. They all blame each other. Wasn't me. I didn't do that much. It was all them. I didn't do anything. Ashana quickly, it becomes very clear that she's the ringleader quite early on. They realise who the ringleader is, with Lisa not far behind. And then Sean coming up the back, you know. So about 3 days later, they're all charged with Shakira's murder. All right. And then it slowly starts to come out what actually happened with Shakira. Now I'm going to give you as a warning. It's awful. I am going to give you a little warning while I let you know exactly what had happened to this poor. Oh, it's just awful. Okay. So what they do, they've obviously all blamed each other. Like I say, that's what they're all doing. And they get Lisa's phone. Okay, they get hold of her phone. Now, they've seen the CCTV footage and ring camera footage of them coming and going. They could see the injuries to Shakira's face. But up until this point, they didn't really know because she was so badly decomposed when she was found. There was a struggle to find cause of death and time of death. Okay, so when they found Lisa, I believe it's only Lisa's phone. Don't know if it's the others. Well, everything comes out then, doesn't it? Okay. So like I say, they'd already been isolating her from all her friends and family. They had took her bank cards off her very early on. They took her bank cards off her and were using them just for their own stuff. She didn't have any money anymore. Okay, they took that. Then they decided, we're going to stay in your flat, the three of them. They took over her flat and they put her in the bike shed. That's where they'd moved her. She couldn't even stay in her own flat anymore. That's what they decided to do. She was moved into a bike shed. All right. And then what they would do, they would wake her up in the middle of the night. Okay. Just to go on errands for them. Not for any reason. There was no reason for it. They didn't need her to do anything. This is what they do. They didn't want her to sleep. The evil on these three is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. All right. So they'd do that. They'd make her go to the petrol station. They'd just send her on errands just for kicks. That's all it was for. All right. They absolutely loved, and I say they loved because it's on camera recordings of them absolutely beating this woman black and blue, the three of them. Okay, humiliating her, making her strip off, laughing at her while they beat her, kick and punch, stamp on her. Everything you can think of. This is what this poor woman was going through at this point. Okay, and they would be laughing in the background. So now she's been beaten. She's been sleep deprived. Yeah, we've got to add the other one in, haven't we? Then they decide to start starving her. She wasn't allowed to eat anymore. She wasn't allowed to drink. And do you know what they were feeding her? Ketchup sachets. Ketchup in sachet. That's what she was allowed to eat. Drink. I don't even know what that classes as. But that's all they were letting her have by that point. So now she's sleep deprived. She's been starved. She's been beaten black and blue. She's been humiliated. But they're not done. They're not done. It gets even more sinister. Because then they decided, even though they had her bank cards and stuff, they weren't getting enough money from her. So now I'm going to say something. And I've ummed and ahed about saying it because on all the sources I've looked at and read, I've watched the trial bits that I can see, I haven't heard this term used. But the term that's used is they forced her into sex work. I, I, I don't agree with that term. They were forced. She was being raped. That's what was going on. They were basically putting themselves across as pimps and charging men to come into Shakira's flat to rape her. And it's, oh, they forced her into sex work. Like, it sounds better. She wasn't in sex work. Work you get paid for. That's what the term work is. You get paid for that. It wasn't sex work. She was being raped. And they were taking the money for it. Just absolute savages, these people are. Just the worst of society. Dregs. Okay, they'd then, after a while, decided to bring her. Whether she was making too much noise, I don't know. Whether it was starting to become noticed, I don't know. But they moved her into Ashan's house then. So they've took her flat, and they've now put her in Ashan's house. I don't know why. There was nothing said why she was put there. Maybe her place was quieter. Maybe it was a hole and none of them wanted to be there. I don't know. But they'd put her in there and they'd let the men come round there to rape her. That's what was going on. Because she's not agreeing to it. She's not getting paid for it. So what else do we call that? So, like I say, I haven't heard that term being used, and maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I'd call it. So at one point, Shakira's walking down the road. I say she's hobbling down the road, and the police see her. They just happen to be passing, and they approach her and they ask her, does she need any help? Is she okay? She says she's okay. She's gaunt. She's frail. She's hobbling. You can see the CCTV. It's haunting, a bit like Gemma Haters, that you can see where she's walking. She's obviously in pain. And they offer, they ask her, are you okay? And she says, yeah, she just basically declined any help. And of course, you will get people out there going, why didn't she say yes? Why didn't she ask for help? She was in fear of her life. And after months and months of abuse, we know that this is what happens. People become too scared. They become, I suppose, just, would you call it, not institutionalized, but the fear's too much for them, and they just can't trust anybody to tell anybody or to ask for help. They just don't believe. And for all we know, they could have been saying to her, you know what, if you tell anyone, you'll be coming back here. No one's going to believe you. No one's going to care. Who cares about you? So you better not tell anyone, because when you come back, we're going to make it 10 times worse. I'm assuming it was along those lines. Okay. So she's declined the help from the police, and the savage beatings they just continue, and it's on camera where they're laughing at her as she's begging them to stop. And again, the sinister ways of these people still doesn't end there. They bring people in to watch and to join in. By the sounds of it, a couple of them might have been underage. Not 100% sure, but these people haven't been named, so I'm assuming they're underage. So they didn't just keep it to the three of them. It was, let's just invite people in as well. it's just... So invite people round, and while they're there, they actually light her feet on fire. They actually burn the skin off her feet. And it wasn't the first time. That's why she'd been hobbling around when the police seen her. She couldn't walk. Because this was a thing they do for kicks. Just burn her feet. Okay. So we come up to the 11th of September 2022. All right. They're in Ashan's house. And again, it's recorded. As far as I know, it's on Lisa's phone. And it shows that she's been made to kneel in front of them. And so they, yes, they smash a glass bottle over her head, right? And while she's crying, Sean goes behind her and kicks her with such force she falls onto her face. All right. Just such a shame. They then make her strip while they're all laughing. It's all a night of kicks for them. They make her strip, boil a kettle, and just pour the full kettle of boiling water over her. Right? She was also burnt with an aerosol can and a lighter. And it's said that, I believe, when Ashana gets, a thumb gets tired from having the lighter lit, a thumb gets tired. So it gets passed on to one of the others to continue burning. They say it's a blowtorch, but apparently it's just an aerosol can and a lighter. And then she falls, Shakira does, and she bangs her head, and she basically knocks herself out. She can't, between that and she can't take the pain anymore. So what they do, they just throw her in the hallway on some newspaper where she's just left to lie in her own urine. These two people who were there, I'm presuming they are young, that's all I can say. And they said that throughout the night, all you could smell was burnt flesh. They weren't done with her. We come to the 12th of September, the next day. All right, the next day. She was moved. She was put into Sean's car, okay, in the boot. Where else would she be put? Brought back to her own house, okay? And she's obviously bleeding profusely. They've still been beating her. They bring her back to her own house and they throw her in do you remember I mentioned the cupboard in the hall? I presume it's an understairs cupboard from what I can see from the picture. And they just threw her in there. And they left her to die. And in that cupboard, all alone, in agony from being burnt and beaten and starved and humiliated, she was left to die on her own. Just left there. And when they come back the next day and find her dead, they're like, oh, what should we do? And they go about a massive cleanup because these are obviously very intelligent people, of course, you know. So their version, you know what? We'll make it look like it was natural causes. And that's why they put her in her son's bed. And they put a newspaper on the floor to make it look, either on the floor or on the end of the bed, to make it look like she'd been reading a newspaper and fell asleep and then died in her sleep of natural causes. How would that even work? How would that even work? And then they just go about trying to clean up. They thought they'd cleaned the cupboards. They thought they'd done that. They thought they'd cleaned everything up. They thought they'd cleaned his car. You know, they're clever, and it's all on CCTV footage and people's ring cameras. It's London. You're watched everywhere. You watched a lot in Birmingham, but as far as I know, London, you are watched from every angle. So you can see them with bin bags, having a clear out, thinking they're very, very clever, obviously. Still using our bank cards, still going around, like thinking life's fine. And around her, they put some ice packs and burnt some incense to slow down decomposition with ice packs. Do you know, words fail me. Words absolutely fail me in this one. They really do. So when they'd got all this footage, obviously remember I said his uncle had phoned the police, and, you know, they arrested the three of them. They all blamed each other, as I said. Now, all three were charged with Shakira's murder 3 days later. So, you know, quite quickly. They'd found the text messages as well on the phone, them discussing the abuse of her. The text messages setting up men to come round to her. It was just all there for them, you know, this cleanup job that they'd done. There was also a fake nail that was found in Shakira's house that was proven to be Ashana's. You know, so they were banter rights. They just were, but they had the audacity. They were remanded on the 30th of September 2022. They were remanded at Westminster Magistrates Court. The trial begins on the 4th of September 2023 because they all had the audacity to plead not guilty. I think there was only one. I've done a story recently where I was shocked when, I can't remember who it was, but they'd actually pled guilty. They'd actually admitted it. Because majority of the stories I do, they always think they're going to walk away from this. And it said that they just didn't think she was a bit like how the perpetrators felt about Jennifer Doherty, Gemma Hayter, all the people I've mentioned. The people who do it just don't see. They see the person as less than human. They just see them as so beneath them that they genuinely can't understand why anyone else would. Why anyone else would be upset. What are you upset for? She wasn't. So, all right, she's dead. Okay. It's that attitude. It's that. I don't understand this. I don't understand the mental, the thought process. It blows my mind. Okay, and remember I said Ashana had previous convictions, I believe, for racial attacks, apparently, neglect of a child. The other two had misdemeanors, I believe, up until that point. It was said that Ashana was the ringleader, which we know. The defence tried to put, Sean's defence tried to put across, he's got a low IQ, he didn't know, he was dragged along for the ride. Well, I heard what the judge says to him, and she says, no, I've watched you. I've been watching you, because they all gave, they were all in the dock, giving their, you know, being cross-examined and stuff. And she says, I've watched you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. And there's no remorse whatsoever. So there was no sympathy for him either. Okay, so we come to the 1st of March 2024. And they were all found guilty. They all were given life imprisonment. And I know it's a UK story, people, but they all got a minimum, all three of them, a minimum of 34 years apiece. With parole no sooner than the 25th of May 2056. So, you know, I think it's 34 years, but they've done time. So although it's 2024 when it was done, don't forget it had been done in 2022. So it was minus the days that they'd already been in remand. But yeah, it was. I would have loved if we had the death sentence for these people, which we haven't. And I'm just surprised because normally when I'm researching these stories and then I get to the point where I find out their sentences and I'm like I say, this one and it came out at the beginning of the month and I was just surprised because normally so 3.5 years you'll be out in 18 months. You know, it's normally that kind of thing. So yes, they all got 34 years before they'll be eligible for parole. And the judge actually says, you know, there's nothing to say you're even getting out. So I thought the judge was quite good in the summing up and when she gave the sentences out. I thought she was quite good. She was quite brutal. She was. The prosecutor called them a pack of feral savages. That's what he called them. The judge actually offered the jury a option to opt out of any future jury service. I mean, I've never been called for jury service, and I think you could go through your whole life without being called, and yet there can be some people who can be called up multiple times. So she has given them the option to opt out of future jury service because there was some that were so distressed by what they saw, because don't forget they would have seen the footage, they would have saw these videos, they would have seen the text messages that we sent. And like I say, if you see the picture of Shakira before and after, and let me tell you, this woman was a size 16. She looked healthy. She looked glowing. She was such a pretty woman who just, every picture I saw, she just had this beautiful smile. You see the side-by-side photo. She was a size 6. She'd gone from a 16 down to a size 6 in months. And her hair that she's gone, like, you know, when someone's had so much damage to their eyes that their eyes are just black. They were just black. Just an absolutely heartbreaking photo, especially when you know what was being done to her. And then to see the footage of her just hobbling over the road, it's just, to think that's what she was going through, what these animals were putting her through. Her son, now again, I don't know her children's ages. I don't know anything about her children, which we can understand why. But all that's been said is her son spoke up and just says that he has nightmares daily. He's got anxiety now. And he just says that these people who did this to my mum are evil. And I think it couldn't be summed up any better than that. There's no other way to sum these people up as just pure pack of feral savages and evil. That's who they are. The judge actually called them that as well. She did call them evil too. Not just an evil act, but they are evil themselves. Just absolutely awful case, awful story. I just feel just so sad that these stories still keep coming up. And you know, I understand that she was a grown woman. She was in her 30s. You know, she's 28 when she first met Ashana, but by the time this happened, she was in her 30s. What have I got? I think she's about 35. She, you know, as parents and as family members, you will do everything you can for your family member. But when they want to live their own life and have freedom and have independence, you have to give that to them. And she'd just been distant so far from her family that they didn't know. They didn't know she was going through so much. It's just this, it's the saddest thing. And it's like I'm doing the same story every time. It's the same thing. It just escalates so quickly. And just the levels of depravity that they go to just to prove themselves. I don't know whether they feel like they're proving themselves alphas, or, they feel powerful because they've got this power over someone they believe is beneath them. It's just so sad. It genuinely is. It just breaks my heart. It honestly does. So, yeah, that was the upsetting disability mate crime of Shakira Spencer. Ugh. Oh, so, yeah, how was that? How are you all? Yous have all been having a great crack in these comments. I've been noticing in the comments. I've been having a look. What have you been on about? Are you on about her carpet again, Warwick? I thought I saw something along them lines. Is that where we are? She's got a pink wrap. But I can't say that out loud. I can't say it out loud. It'll be shown tomorrow. How are we all anyway? I hope I did that one justice. I did get myself chopped and changed. Do you know what it is? When I'm doing my notes, I get a little bit carried away, and then I start to get myself a little bit confused about where I am, and I like to make sure I give you all the dates and everything that you need in order of how you should hear it. But yeah, are we all okay? Who's joined us this evening? Has everyone joined us? I think I've seen everyone. Has Ariane joined us this evening? I haven't noticed her, and I don't think I've seen Courtney. Has Kelly been in tonight either? I haven't seen Kelly either, or have I just not seen her? Yeah, I don't know what's going on, and no one's talking to me. Talk to me. Tell me what's happening, because I don't know what's going on. I'm out of the loop, and I don't like being out of the loop. I feel lonely over here. What's going on? What's happening in the comments? I haven't seen Kelly though. Yes, if you could, yes. Oh, and don't forget my Patreon. Are you Scottish, Sharon? I've just seen you saying the wee drum. Are you from Scotland? Because we've got another girl on here. Kelly's from Scotland. Was it okay, Warwick? Oh, is it them too, Hayley? I know. She was the first to join. She beat you, sis. She beat you, Sharon did. She was here early. But yeah, are you from Scotland, Sharon? I haven't seen Kelly tonight, but I believe Kelly's from Scotland too. I'm not too sure. It's not like her not to join us. But yeah. She hasn't been in tonight, has she? That's what I said, Sharon. You were our first in. You beat the sis tonight. You did. I haven't seen Mum either. I haven't seen Mum on. But yes, if you are watching tomorrow, if you could possibly have a look in on my Patreon. I do keep asking. I don't know if anyone's doing it. I don't need any. I don't need. Oh, Charlotte, are you here too? Hi, Charlotte. Yeah, I don't need you to add anything on Patreon or anything. Well, I do need you to add, but what I actually want you to do is just go in and have a look. Is it like other people's Patreon? Because I've never done it before. So it's patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. I think that's what it is. 5472. I'm sure it is. Do you know, I remember until I'm saying it and then I'm like, is that the number? But I think it is. But if you could have a look, I'd really appreciate it, because I've set it up and I don't know if it's what I'm supposed to do. I was told to set it up and I don't actually. Oh, was you? Was you here earlier? I was shocked that you weren't. I was shocked that you weren't the first, to be honest. But yeah, if you could have a look at that for me, I'd really appreciate it, because I put things up in there and I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't even know if it's set up right. I don't even know if it's fully gone through. Tiff says that it kicks her out of it, so I just don't know. So I'd appreciate that. And Sharon, have you ever been here for our jingle? Have you experienced our jingle yet at the end of stories? Because you're in for a treat if you haven't. If you've not seen our jingle, you're in for a treat. No, you're not. You're not. It's shocking. It's shocking. But it's something that we do after every story. But before I do go, I have some stories ready now for next Tuesday. Right, next Tuesday, obviously, Request Live Tuesday. I've got Natalie's. Are you from Glasgow? Excellent. I've never been. I've been to Livingston. I had to go there for a meeting once, but that was the one and only time I've ever been to Scotland. Livingston. I can't remember where in Livingston, but that's where I had to go. Yes, the jingle does rule, Phil. It absolutely does. Don't run, Sharon. Don't go anywhere. You have to stay for the jingle. If you've stayed for the whole thing, you have to stay for the jingle now. But oh, I've had a brain block. What I've had a brain block? What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Yes. So we've got Natalie's story on Tuesday. I've got Warwick's. Then I'm either going to do it next Thursday or it will be the Tuesday after. And the only reason I might do it next Thursday, we've got Easter coming up and I'm venturing away from the Birmingham for a little bit over Easter. So I'm going to see where I am in the time, because I want to get all your stories done before the break. So I'm going to do Natalie's on Tuesday, Warwick's maybe Thursday. Then I've got PJ's possibly next Tuesday or the Thursday, and then Sharon. So, okay. Where did Dennis start? Where's that, Warwick? I don't know where that is. Where's that? I'm sure you told us before, didn't you? You live. Oh God, I forgot. See, this, I don't know why I ask the question, because I forget like that. I'm terrible. I'm absolutely terrible. My memory's shocking. It's why everything has to be written down. But okay, it's jingle time. So if you're watching tomorrow, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys, please. This is my jingle, Sharon. This is it. And it's because I never know how to ask people to like, comment, subscribe, so it comes out like this. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, guys, I'd really appreciate it. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Are you Scottish, Warwick? Are you? That would explain. Yes. Are you? There it is. There it is. That's the sense of humour. That's where it is. Yeah. Yeah, and that's why Keller, yeah. See, you've got a whole little Scottish clique going on now, haven't you? Oh, it's not in Glasgow. Why are you saying it's in Glasgow then? What's going on? So, oh, not near you. Right, okay. But you are Scottish, Warwick. Is that right? See, that's why we all get on. There's a lot of Irish here. There's a lot of Scottish here. So, you know, we all get on quite well. We do. A lot of Northerners. So, yes. Although Tiffany swears she's not Northern, she still reckons she's West Midlands somehow. I don't know how that works. But apparently my geography took a hit. But it does do that. But like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Yeah, this is my jingle, though. Sharon, this is my jingle. Like, comment, subscribe, guys, please. Look, comment, subscribe. And it gets very aggressive as well, and I lose my breath and it all starts sweating. But that's our jingle. If you can like, comment, subscribe, guys. Live in the Northwest. Okay. I see. That's why we get that. Still, same thing, same sense of humour. Yes. It's the Irish thing, it's the Scottish thing, it's the whole thing. I think that's why we get on. And that's why some people maybe take a little bit of offence when maybe they shouldn't. Just saying. But I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, that was my jingle. That was it. I told you not to get excited, didn't I? Look, comment and subscribe, guys. It's you know when you see the kids doing it and they look really cool, and it's like comment, subscribe. My daughter does it and she looks so cool when she says it, and she's very calm, and it's like, comment, subscribe. I never know how to say it properly. The bottom teeth are coming out in that one now. It's all good. And then patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. See, this comes up. So you're East Midlands too, Phil. Tiffany reckons she's East Midlands. She's not. Northampton. I don't think you're far from me though, Phil. I think we're all quite nearby. Oh my God. Also living in Nottingham, so no Skeggy. Yeah, she's Skeggy. She's not East Midlands. Skeggy Vegas. Hayley, are you here? Did I see you earlier? Let me just check who's here so I can thank everyone. So thank you, Sharon, our new member. I hope you continue to join us. We do Tuesdays and Thursdays, so we're like that group. Once you join us, you're not allowed to leave. It kind of becomes that. So sorry, you're done now. You're here for the duration. And Charlotte, I've seen Charlotte. Warwick, of course. Phil, Hayley, Tiff, of course. Is that everybody? I think have I said thank you to everyone? I just want to thank you all. You know, I really appreciate it. I genuinely do. Because you have to put up with this. You have to put up with this a lot of the sweating. I don't know where it comes from, but there's a lot of this. And the like, comment and subscribe, that causes it as well. Like, comment and subscribe, guys. But yes, so I will see you on Tuesday with Natalie. Is Natalie here tonight? I haven't seen Natalie. Really hot. Hayley, do you know what? It's not on easy. Look at this. It's Lincolnshire. I don't know where that is. I say I'm terrible. I'm going to make myself look terrible now. I know my geography is horrific. It really is. I know England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, but then when we go into, I probably know more Irish counties than I know here. It's terrible. You're not East Midlands, stop it. Yes, you are there, Natalie. Yes, it's your night on Tuesday, so everyone has to join for Natalie's story, which we're very excited about. I'm going to work on that over the weekend, and yeah, I just hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I'm going to go and sort myself out now and have a cold shower or just stand outside or something. It's just, and you know what? Look at this. I sort it out before I come on, and it's just, you know what? It's just terrible. Right. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Thank you all for joining me so much again. And yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please. Oh, nearly lost me. Nearly lost it then. Nearly lost it. I can't hold my breath that long. Have a fabulous weekend. I'll see you all soon. Thank you. Oh, no, finger. I'm trying not to put my finger on it. I just can't get that down, can I? I just can't get off the channel nicely and smoothly. I just can't do it. There we go. I'm doing it. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.